This is according to the latest unemployment stats released by Stats SA last week. With young people making up the majority of those unemployed in the country, Transport Education Training Authority, in partnership with the youth-owned media company YDB Media, have put their hands up in the fight against unemployment. The umkhombandlela is an initiative aimed at exposing maths and science learners in grades 9 to 12 to available career and bursary opportunities within the fast-growing transport sector. Now, to find out more about the initiative, we joined in studio by Sabelo Mbuku, who is the head of marketing and communications at the Transport Education Training Authority. Sabelo, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Indeed. Now, take us through this initiative. What is it about and how did it come about?
Okay, number one is TETA, that is the Transport Education and Training Authority. We've got a mandate to ensure that we facilitate skills development and training throughout the country.
Okay.
Now, if you focus then on the transport sector, then you look at the opportunities and the careers that then exist within that industry. You'll discover that in the rural areas, especially in the schools that are based there, those opportunities are not fully explored. Thus then we then chose to look at how do we then address that and begin to speak to the young people, expose them to the different careers that exist within the transport sector. That is how the relationship came about.
Do you think this is the panacea, or do you think this will be able to solve the unemployment issue?
I think if we are addressing the skills from a young age, then we are exposing these learners to the careers that we call they are scarce and critical, which means those careers, if you pursue them, the chances of you being employed are higher than somebody who just automatically choose a career. Now, if we look at those, if we address it from a grade 9, 10 level, then we are able to say when they make the choices of subjects, they are linking them to careers that will, in the end, offer them opportunities.
Okay, let's now get to the bolts and the nuts of this actual initiative. Take us through all the stages from the beginning right till the end.
Okay, what is happening is we've got 9 provinces. And what we've done as an organization is that we have then engaged with the Department of Education in different provinces for them to choose the schools that they see that they need assistance. Now, based on that, we then formulated a strategy in terms of how do we then provide support to these schools. One, you would find that some of them would be struggling with maths and science. Then we are able to provide such assistance by providing them with different providers that can assist with that need to ensure that, one, we increase the level of literacy in those schools and the pass rate for these subjects that we know they are important within our sector, which is the transport sector. Now, within that process, you've adopted then these schools throughout the province. Now we are in an initiative to expose them to the different careers within the transport space. And obviously, some of them have never been exposed to careers such as your aeronautical engineers, which are generally available for those that are doing maths and science. And if we don't go out there and advocate this, they are going to miss such opportunities.
I understand it's already started in the Eastern Cape. Is there any prospects of expanding to other provinces as well?
All right, we've started in the Eastern Cape. We've covered 2 areas in the Eastern Cape, that is Butterworth, somewhere in Msobomvu, as well as Engeleni. And then from there, we moved to the Western Cape. There's an area called Panacea, just outside of Stellenbosch. That is where we hosted the next one. Now, what we are going to do starting from February is to then roll it out throughout the other 7 provinces to ensure that at least we touch all those lives before the end of this financial year.
Talk to me about the selection criteria. How do you select the beneficiaries?
As I've mentioned earlier, we have adopted schools around the country, about 50 of them. Now we're targeting those schools, and then there will be schools that are closer to the schools that we've adopted.
So it's the schools who nominate the names?
That is correct.
Okay.
Because in each school, they would know who are those kids that are doing maths and science,
okay,
and those that are interested in those kind of subjects, so that we are able to expose them to the opportunities linked to the subjects that already they are earmarking.
What are some of the careers that students can pursue in the transport sector?
For instance, become logistics, supply chain management. And then when we talk to schools about these careers, you realize that not many learners are aware of such opportunities. And these are kids that are doing commercial subjects. Then for your maths and science, I've mentioned aeronautical engineering. There are technical careers that are within the aviation space. You're talking about pilots, you're talking about ship captains, you're talking about technicians that are actually fixing these aircrafts. So these are the careers that we are exposing them to ensure that, one, we create the interest from a younger age, to ensure that at least the pool that comes into the transport sector is well informed.
So those careers that we've just mentioned, if it's the student's dream career, but then he or she doesn't have the requisite grades for maths and science, for instance, then it means it's a dream deferred.
Well, it might be a dream deferred, but remember, if you don't do well in maths and science, there are other opportunities that still exist. You can do bridging courses to try and improve like your maths and science. Otherwise, there's still artisan-related opportunities that could also take you closer to your dream. So what we are doing is to expose you to as many options as possible, to ensure that if you are aiming higher with your maths and science, you don't say when you fall short, you take other opportunities as maybe inferior. You need to be sure that like all the opportunities that are out there, they are going to assist you to get to the level that you want to get to.
Sabelo Mbuku, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right. That is Sabelo Mbuku, the Head of Marketing and Communications at the Transport Education Training Authority. This is AM News. Let's take a short break. And after the break, Marumo is standing by with your sport.